Hey, it's Miss Marnon, and we're going to do Unit 2, page 7, Subtraction with the Pairs Model. So just so you know, this video should be treated just as if you were in class, because this lesson is supposed to be done in class. So you're going to have work time, so that's when you're going to pause the video, try it on your own, and then you're going to check your answers with me. That's when you unpause the video and go over it. You're actually going to make a lot more brain connections trying it on your own and then checking out the video than if you just copied it. If you just copy it, you're not really actually learning. To learn math, you need to do the math, especially with this model. So this one's even, I think, maybe a little trickier than the number line, but once you get it, you're going to understand it really well. So we have our DIN here. So our review uses zero-sum pairs model to determine the sum below. And then it says, take a look at the zero-sum pairs model below. Explain why it still represents a quantity of 3. So right now you should pause the video and try the review and the preview. Okay, so I need to get comfy in my seat before I start digging into this math. I know who I am as a person. I need more space than this. So I'm actually going to hit enter a bunch of times just to give myself some more space. I know that when I start drawing on this, like I have my little tablet here, it's going to take me a bit of space. So zero-sum pairs model for the sum. So here we have -5. So I'm going to represent that by drawing 5 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then plus +7. So I'm going to represent that by doing 5 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we pair them. We know a +1 and a -1 zeros out. +1 plus -1 adds to 0. It's going to go away. Here's another +1, -1 zeros out. This zeros out. This zeros out. This zeros out. We are left with +2. So -5 plus 7 is +2. And maybe I want to actually do that in red so it's easy to see. +2. So now for a preview, it's saying, why does this still represent 3? So we know this right here is +3. And these are all zero-sum pairs. +1, -1. It's going to be 0. These are all going to zero out, or even this whole group. +4 and -4 add to 0. This is like one big 0 plus 3. So you're going to switch back to typing. If you haven't already typed it here, you're going to want to put in your explanation. I don't want to feed you the words to use, but I can give you some buzzwords that you might want to use. You might want to say additive inverse. You might want to say opposites. You might want to say zeros out. You might want to say, let's see, what else might you want to say? You might just want to say that they are zero-sum pairs. So those are some words you might want to use, but I don't want to tell you exactly how to say this. I just showed you on the diagram why it's still 3. I want you to put it in your own words. You can use any, all, or one, or none of these. So now we're going to move on to the exercises. So this is where we're going to start working with subtraction. So it says, consider the subtraction problem 3 minus 7. So if you look at this, this is the same model above. You told me that this was equal to 3, right? Here's the +3, and these are just a bunch of zeros. It says if the pairs model represents a +3, and we cross out 7 positives, so take away 7 positives, or in other words, subtract 7, what do we have left over? So pause the video, see what you can do with this model, and answer this question. So if we take away 7, right, this is 3. You told me up above this was 3. We can take away 7 by crossing out 7 positives, right? This is a +7, so take away 7. Take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're left with -4. What this is saying is if you have 3 minus 7, it equals -4. And I think that we're going to be okay with that because we already know subtracting a positive is just like adding the negative. So 3 minus 7 being -4 makes sense to us. Let's look at the next one. So it says, consider the following pairs model. What value does the model represent? And then use the model to solve 5 minus -2. So pause the video, try to answer both of these questions now. Okay, so what value does the model represent? Well, we can see here's a zero-sum pair, that zeroes out, here's a zero-sum pair. What's left is this 5 positive. So the value this model represents is positive 5. So here's the 5, so that first number, we're going to do 5. We need to take away negative 2. So let me erase my zero-sum pairs. This still is 5, but to take away negative 2, that means cross out 2 negatives. If I cross out 2 negatives, we're left with positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just to be clear, what we're saying is if you have 5 subtract negative 2, that's positive 7. Just like in the last lesson, we saw that when we subtract a negative value, it actually increases what it is. So now we have number 3. And if you're like me, before you even start, hit enter a few times so you have room to draw. I know I kind of draw big on this. So I'm actually going to probably hit a few more times. For each of the following, find the difference by drawing a pairs model like the previous 2. So first you're going to try part A, 2 minus 5. So see if you can figure out how to draw this. Okay, so if you haven't already, you should pause the video and try 2 minus 5. Here's how we're going to start. Here is our steps. So I'm going to pick blue to start with. You're going to draw the first number. The first number is positive 2. So I'm going to draw 2 positives. I don't have enough positives to take away 5. If I start crossing them out, I'm stuck at 2. So we need to get some extra positives on here. We can't change the value. If we add 0, right? Do we agree that 2 plus 0 is still 2? So that's like if I wanted to do 2 plus positive 1 plus negative 1, right? This is still 2. So if I add, let me do a different color so we can see the difference. Let's do purple. I like purple. So if I add a positive 1 and a negative 1, this is still 2. I just added 0, right? This is a zero-sum pair, so it's 0 out. We're left with 2. So we can keep doing this. We can keep adding 0 as many times as I want. If I add another 0 pair, this whole diagram still represents 2, but now I just have more like little pieces to work with. So I'm going to add enough zeros so that I'm able to take away 5 positives. So this is still 2, right? These are just 0 pairs I added on. Adding 0 to 2 is still 2. Right now, this represents 2 plus 3 plus negative 3, right? This is still 2. This is what we worked on the other day, right? Because this zeroes out, this is still 2. But now we can take away 5 positives. So now I can take away these 5 positives, and the answer is negative 3. So 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So that's for A. So now that you saw me do all the steps, if you needed the help, try B on your own. So 3 minus 9. Pause the video and try letter B. Okay, so I'm going to draw this. I'm going to start with green. So positive 3. So we're going to represent that first number, right? So here's positive 3. So you're going to draw out the first number. I like to change colors so you can see when I'm adding my zeros on. So here's my positive 3. I need to add enough zeros, so I have 9 positives to take away. So I'm going to add, here's a 0 pair. This diagram still represents 3. We're just adding 0. I'm going to add enough zeros. There's another 0. As long as I add both a positive and a negative together. You can't just add on one or the other. You need to add them as pairs, a positive and a negative together. So I'm going to keep adding my pairs. So I'm up to 8. So let's do one more. Now I have 9 positives. So I added 0. I can't just add 9 positives. I need to add them with the negatives. So now I can zero out, right? Or I can actually subtract out 9. So this whole diagram still represents 3. This is just saying this is going to be what? 3 plus, that's going to be 6 plus negative 6, right? This is still just 3, but now I can take away 9 from this 3. I can take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm left with negative 6. So 3 minus 9 is negative 6. So that's how these models are going to work. So you now have these practice problems. So it's starting you with these positives. You need to start adding 0 pairs until you can do this problem, right? Add enough zero-sum pairs. You need a positive and a negative, positive and a negative. Add them on until you can do this problem. So you're going to do all of these problems. So you have practice number 1 where they started the diagram. You're going to have to start the diagrams on your own here. If you need space, make sure you give yourself more space by hitting enter a bunch of times, however many times you need. So you need to first start by drawing out the number. So they started with here's the 5. Then you add on 0 until you have enough to take away. So this one, you're going to make sure that you can take away negative 7, take away negative 2, take away negative 4. So this is what's going to be graded for class. So I'm not going to show you how to do these in the video. If you need to review how to do them, watch how I set up these problems again. So you're going to do these on your own. Then you're going to do your exit ticket. You're going to do your self-reflection, I can or I need help. And then all you're going to do is on Canvas, you're going to hit mark as done, and you're done with this lesson.